Hey guys, this is DFS Chan. I'm here to talk about today's EPL slate. It's a 6-game slate during the week, which is a rarity. So I'm excited that we have this happening in the middle of the week. Other than we've had some UCL like Champions League, slates here and there, but EPL, we have a whole slate, 6-game slate, like I said, in the middle of the week because the players have been busy with international duties, so they're trying to catch up on the season. So let's dive in here. Let me see if you can see my screen here. Oh, there you go. So this slate has, let me see how many. I actually put this together earlier. We have three big favorites on the slate. And that would be Chelsea on the road here against Watford, and Manchester City against Aston Villa on the road, and Liverpool against Everton on the road. So all of these big favorites are on the road, fully noted. So, I think those are the favorite teams that, you should probably, try to focus and stack the players. And, obviously you want to fade some players that are on the other side of that matchup because those favorites will dominate the possession of the ball. Obviously that correlates to, not having as many opportunities to create chances, to rack up points. So, soccer has a lot of correlation as well based on the ball possession, but as well as how teams tend to play. So I'll dive into that for each of the teams. So first matchup, actually, I'll just go through the slate in the order of the biggest favorite to the biggest underdog. So I'll dive into the Chelsea and Watford matchup first, since that's the biggest lopsided match on the slate. As you can see, BTS means not the K-pop band. BTS means both teams to score. And it's at plus 110. That means, most likely Chelsea's going to score, but Watford is not expected to score. So, for GPP purposes, you don't really want to have any Watford strikers or attackers because they're really not expected to score goals. And if they do so, I don't think they're going to score 2-3 goals and break the slate. So it's probably best to stay away from them. And then I saw the odds for total goals over under, and it's over 2.5 goals at minus 150. So that's pretty good. They're expected to score. The game's expected to produce, over 2-3 goals, in the game. And most likely those are going to come from Chelsea. So Chelsea is obviously the biggest favorite. Team news is that Chilwell, who I really like, and he, when he's on the field, he is on the set piece duty, corner kicks and free kicks, but he's out today based on the news. And Conte, their midfielder, and Kovacic, they're both midfield, so I'm not really interested in them anyway. But Chilwell being out, creates a lot of opportunities for Chelsea's fullbacks, which I'll dive into, for like Reece James, Mark Alonso, and sometimes Azpilicueta. So I'll dive into the lineup, but it's also Team Werner, and Reece James and Jorginho are doubtful. James came off the last game injured, hobbling. But there's a good chance he could play too. So, we'll have to monitor. And that's one player that, we really have to monitor. And Jorginho, when he is in the game, he takes penalty kicks. So if there's a penalty kick, he will be the one to take it. But he plays in the central midfielder position, so he doesn't really rack up as many points. For the Watford side, Ismail Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis, they're two best attacking players are out today. I think Sarr is definitely out. Emmanuel Dennis is expected to be out. He's very doubtful. He came off injured last game. So without two of their best players for Watford, it's looking very lopsided to me. I think that really has me favor Chelsea to win the game, straight up, outright. So I don't think I'm going to have any Watford pieces for DFS purposes. So Chelsea, let's dive into the expected lineup here. Like I said, Chelsea is the big favorite. Chelsea has Reece James expected to start, but he was injured, so we'll see what happens there. If he doesn't start there, whoever fills in right there will be interesting to play. I think it'll be much cheaper than Mark Alonso. I think Marcus Alonso, when he's in, he takes set pieces without Chilwell. So Alonso and James, if he starts, are both obviously great plays, at core plays probably, in my opinion. Most people will have either one of those, and some people will have both of those players. So, we'll see what happens there. And then another high floor guy they have is Mason Mount if he starts. So obviously Mason Mount is their best, chance creator, playmaker. He has the highest floor on the attacking side. So James, Alonso, Mount are probably the three people that I would focus on. And Jorginho, if he ends up starting in the central midfield position to save salary relief. He's on the penalty kick duties, like I said, so he's an interesting piece. For GPP purposes, like I said, Chelsea is expected to score 2 to 3 goals at least. So I like Romelu Lukaku. If you think Chelsea will score, most likely Lukaku will be involved in at least one goal, I think, in my opinion. So, yeah, Watford tends to give up a lot of points too, so generally. And like I said, they don't have two of their best players. So it looks like a Chelsea route of Watford. And let me check out one more thing here. Chelsea, where are you? Okay. So James is questionable, like I said. So if he does not end up starting, like I said, Mark Alonso is a top option. And then most likely Azpilicueta will start. He tends to cross the ball too and create a lot of chances, but not as many as Mark Alonso. So if James sits, I think Alonso is a must play, in my opinion. And Mason Mount, like I said. All right, so that's Chelsea and Watford. The next biggest favorite is Liverpool on the road. Man City has the same odds, but as you can see, Aston Villa is a bigger underdog at home compared to Everton, Liverpool's opponent, that is. So Liverpool I'll talk about first, and also here, as you can see, actually Aston Villa is a bigger underdog, but the reason I'm going to talk about Liverpool first is, the Liverpool I'm going to talk about first is because the over under here for total goals is at minus 162 compared to the Man City game, which is at minus 137. I do think that is pretty accurate. I think Aston Villa's defense is worse than Everton's. So I do think it's going to, the Liverpool game is going to produce, is expected to score more goals. And then both teams to score is actually at minus 110. So Everton is expected to score, but the ball is going to be so dominated by Liverpool. Probably at least 60% of the game possession is going to be dominated by Liverpool players. That's how they like to play, just like Man City, which I'll talk about next. So Liverpool, the team news is that Firmino is out, their striker, and he's been out for a while. Jota has been starting in the striker position along with Mane on the left and Salah on the right side. So I'm guessing that's what's going to happen again. And Jota has been in good form, so it's not like they really miss Firmino anyway. And then Liverpool's opponent, Everton, they have Holgate, Mina, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin being out, he's been out for a while, but he's their striker, and they've been struggling without him. And then Mina and Holgate, they're the defenders. So I'm not really interested in analyzing that because for DFS purposes, we don't really care about center backs and defenders unless they're on the side, on the wings, crossing the ball. But Dominic Calvert-Lewin being out, like I said, hurts Everton, and then Richarlison had to carry the load, this season with DCL out. So Richarlison has to get a little bump usage without DCL, but still, Liverpool is a big favorite, so I don't expect Everton to rack up as many points they would compared, when they play against other inferior opponents. One thing to note, I'll talk about Thiago, but yeah, one thing, let's dive into the expected lineup here. Where is it? Right here. Okay. I'll talk about Liverpool first. Liverpool, just like Chelsea, their fullbacks, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andrew Robertson are the core pieces. They love to cross the ball. They probably cross the ball at least 5 times a game each. So naturally, that's going to create a lot of chances for them to get an assist or get points for shots assisted on the DK scoring system. Obviously, they can hook up with any of these top players, Salah, Jota, or Mane, like I said, the top 3 guys. But obviously, along with the fullbacks, Salah is the top option. But his price tag is pretty high. It's at 10.5. He's the only player that is above 10K price tag. So, anyway, where's the Liverpool one? Okay, so Liverpool, I have those 3 players, TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then Andrew Robertson, and then Mo Salah. Those are the core plays probably, and then GPP purposes, really Jota, and then Sadio Mane really are the 2 guys that you want to focus on. Like I said, any of those 2 guys can go off. They have a high ceiling, but they don't have as high of a floor compared to Salah, TAA, or Andrew Robertson. So, for what it's worth, they're good GPP plays, I think. And then in the midfield, these are GPP plays as well. Maybe Thiago for cash consideration, but I was reading some articles earlier, but that Thiago has been coming off the field pretty early on, so they're expecting him to come off early again this game if he ends up starting and get some rest. So that's the substitution risk that is with Thiago. So that's Liverpool. Let's dive into Manchester City. Both teams to score at -105. That's compared to -10 for the Liverpool game. And then over 2.5 goals is -137. Like I said, it's still pretty good. They're still expected to score more than 2.5 goals, 3 goals. So, both teams to score. So maybe 2-1, 3-0. I don't know. But Man City should still dominate the ball and possession, just like Liverpool. So I'm not really that interested in Aston Villa pieces, but I would be more interested in Aston Villa pieces compared to Everton pieces, because Aston Villa is a much better attacking team than Everton is. So if you are to play any underdog pieces, Aston Villa pieces would not be a bad idea. For Man City, Ferran Torres and Laporte are out, and Kevin De Bruyne and Jack Grealish are doubtful. Aston Villa is Jack Grealish's old team. That's where he transferred from this past offseason. So I'm hoping Grealish plays against his former team, but it looks like he may not play. And then KDB, I think he had COVID. He's recovering from COVID, but we'll see what happens there. But obviously, if KDB is in, he's one of the best players in the world. and he takes a lot of set pieces, and he dominates the ball for that team, for that big favorite team. So he's definitely in play. Any of these two guys is in play if they play. Aston Villa on the other side, Traore and Danny Ings are out, two of the best attackers they have on their team. So we'll see what happens. I think Man City, like I said, will still dominate the possession. So Man City being the biggest favorite, or big favorite on the slate. Let's dive into their lineup. If Kevin De Bruyne does not start, and if Riyad Mahrez starts, then Mahrez is definitely the top 4 play. Mahrez and Gundogan, they will share set pieces. But it's a little complicated because Phil Foden, who is probably their second best player, in my opinion, aside from KDB, if Phil Foden, who is doubtful, if he ends up starting, then Foden will take a lot of set pieces, and he will definitely be the top play, in my opinion. So Foden, KDB, Mahrez, and then Gundogan are probably the high floor guys that you want to consider. And then maybe I'll add Joao Cancelo to that list as well. So those 5 players: Foden, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Gundogan, and Cancelo. And then if Grealish starts, I mean, he could start here against his former team, but I'm not too keen on playing him because he's just coming off of, he hasn't played in a long time. So, and then for GPP purposes, I would consider Jesus and then Sterling. Sterling has been in pretty good form lately, so maybe I'll consider him for cash considerations. And he has a higher floor than Jesus, but Jesus also has been creating a lot of chances too. So Man City overall has been playing well without their star players who've been in and out. So it'll be interesting to see what pieces you want, but really any of those attackers that I just mentioned are in play. And then Rodri, he's in the central midfielding position, and he doesn't rack up as many floor points, but sometimes he shoots. He gets like 1 or 2 shots, per game, and he can shoot. So, and then Bernardo Silva, if he starts, I mean, he's just like Sterling and Jesus. I think they're sometimes on the end of 1 or 2 goals, but they don't have as high floor as Cancelo, Mahrez, Gundogan, or Foden, or Kevin De Bruyne, basically. So really, as you can see, Man City has a really good team. So Aston Villa on the other side, like I said, I would rather play Aston Villa pieces compared to Everton because they like to attack more. So if I think Danny Ings is expected to be out, actually. So I think this is inaccurate. But John McGinn and Matty Cash and then Matt Target. So those are probably the top three players that I will consider. I think Matt Target will probably be at the top of that list. But like I said, Man City will dominate the possession. So who knows how many floor points they will be, afforded to have. I mean, you need to have the ball to rack up points. So I think those are the 3 guys that I will probably only consider. Nakamba has been playing well, but I think against Man City, he's not going to have as many opportunities. So I'll speed it up a little bit because we still have 3 more matches to talk about. Burnley versus Wolverhampton. Burnley is the underdog on the road, and the Wolverhampton, I think, is the biggest favorite at home, that is, on the slate. But I do think Burnley's going to play well here. I think Burnley actually did not play this past weekend because of the snow. I posted in the Discord channel against Tottenham. There was too much snow for the Burnley game to happen. So they got some extra rest. So I think they will show up against Wolverhampton, even though they're a big underdog on the road. Burnley is no joke. They like to create chances too by Dwight McNeil. And then where's Goodmanson? And then their fullbacks are hit or miss. But in this spot, I actually don't mind playing them because I think Wolverhampton will create a lot of chances, but also expose a lot of chances as well. So I think I like Burnley pieces here a lot for GPP purposes. But the high floor guys on Burnley is McNeil, Goodmanson, and then maybe Loughton and Taylor, the fullbacks. For the home favorite and Wolves, I like, where is he? Ryan Aït-Nouri. I always highlight him every slate, but the Wolves have shifted a lot of responsibilities, whether it be set pieces or creating chances, to this dude right here. So he, in my opinion, has the highest floor on that team for DFS purposes. And then João Moutinho sometimes takes set pieces, but he's in the middle of the field where he's limited to, to certain positions where he cannot cross the ball. So I like Aït-Nouri here, and then maybe Semedo if you want to take a chance on, maybe getting an assist for Semedo and stuff. And then I guess for GPP purposes, it'll be interesting to play any of these three guys up top: Hwang, Jimenez, and Traore. Jimenez is the best striker here, but Hwang can be a hit or miss as well. There was few games in the season where I think he scored over 10 points at least, 10 forward points. So it'll be interesting to see. And if Adama Traore starts like here, they're expecting, he's obviously a good GPP play as well. And for that game, both teams to score, yes. Over 2.5 goals, no. So it's expected to produce the lowest total goals on the slate. So that's an interesting odd to look at, especially because I think for the Wolves, Raul Neves is out, their main central midfielder who likes to shoot the ball. And then Westwood for Burnley is out, that limits their offensive upside. So if you think they're not going to score more than 2 goals, maybe the strikers are not the good play. Maybe that limits their goal scoring upside. So maybe focusing on their high floor guys, like maybe for cash purposes, Aït-Nouri, Semedo, then McNeil, and then maybe Goodmanson, like I said. So those are the probably 4 guys I would consider. The second to the last matchup I'll talk about is Brighton versus West Ham United. Both teams to score, yes. Over 2.5 goals, no. So again, this is another game that has the low total goals expected. For Brighton, Alzate and Welbeck are out. They've been out for a while, so it doesn't really affect them. Cresswell, on the other hand, for West Ham is doubtful. So he came off hobbling last game, so that's a huge blow for West Ham. So let's look at what that may look like. So like I said, West Ham is a slight favorite at home. For them, actually, Cresswell, like I said, if he does not start, I think that will create that will bump the usage for Jared Bowen if he ends up starting. So Bowen did not start last game, but he is their best high floor player for West Ham. I think he will get a start here. It's even though it doesn't say it on here on this lineup. If Jared Bowen starts, I'm definitely gonna play him if Cresswell is out. So we'll see what happens there. But for GPP, really, for cash, let's talk about cash first. High floor guys: Cresswell, Johnson, like I said, Jared Bowen, who's not pictured here, and then Ben Rama, and then Antonio. Antonio likes to shoot a lot. So he, obviously you get a point for each shot. So if he ends up shooting a lot, that will, he will rack up a lot of points. For GPP purposes, I also like Antonio for that. And then any of these guys, Masuaku or Fornals. And then between Rice and Souček, these are the central midfielder guy who likes to sit back, but also shoot sometimes 1 or 2 times a game. So they could be on the end of the scoring sheet, but not likely. But like I said, high floor guys: Cresswell, Johnson, Ben Rama, and then maybe Antonio. And Brighton on the other side of the matchup, where is Pascal Gross? I see not starting. Like I said, Alzate and Welbeck are out, but Pascal Gross is the guy who takes a lot of set pieces for them and likes to cross the ball. So it'll be interesting to see if he ends up starting. If he does not start, then Trossard will most likely be on the set piece duties. And then Lamptey, if he ends up starting in a more advanced position like this, rather than starting back here where he usually plays, because now Veltman and Lamptey are both healthy. I think they like to push out Lamptey a little more in a little more advanced role. So I'll be interested in Lamptey a lot. He played really well last game. That might be a sneaky GPP play, I think, in my opinion. And then Marco Gurella likes to cross the ball as well, and then Veltman. So these two guys are, the high floor guys that I will be interested in this matchup. But like I said, I think this one does not have high goals expected. So like I said, focus on the high floor guys. For the strikers, maybe like for 1 or 2 goals, but that's about it. It limits their goal upside based on the odds. So I'm not too interested in that. Finally, the last matchup of the slate is probably the most even matchup. Like I said, I order these based on the odds. So this is more of a toss-up, at least Vegas thinks. Both teams to score 162, so that's a lot. So both teams will most likely score, and over 2.5 goals, yes. But apparently there's going to be rain. This is the only game that has rain that's expected during the game. And for Leicester City, Tielemans, Pereira, and Bertrand are out. These are the fullbacks that Leicester likes to put out, but they're both out. And Tielemans has been their best playmaker for that team until about 2 or 3 weeks ago when he got injured. That shifted a lot of usage and opportunities for James Maddison to step up, and he has delivered. So I like James Maddison as my core play for everything today. So we'll see what happens there. And then on the other side of the matchup is Southampton. Stuart Armstrong and Djenepo are both out. I think Stuart Armstrong is injured, and Djenepo has some personal issues that are causing him to be out. But they are the home favorite for Southampton, as you can see, which is surprising to me. I think it's maybe because Leicester is missing a lot of players due to injuries and red cards and everything. So we'll see what happens there. But Southampton, the high floor guys, is James Ward-Prowse, JWP. So he obviously averages, I think, at least 10 points a game. I think he gets to 10 points no matter what, because he's on a lot of set pieces. He likes to cross the ball. He likes to create chances, shots assisted. He likes to shoot the ball at times when he's in the mood. So I think, I like him as a core play. This game actually has 2 core plays, in my opinion. I think JWP and then, like I said, James Maddison. So it'll be interesting to see because both players like to dominate the ball for that team and like to carry the team on their back. And then for Southampton, I'll continue the high floor guys, if there is any such thing for Southampton, as Livramento. And then maybe Walker Peters, but I'm not keen on playing him. So maybe Livramento and then JWP, and that's about it. And then if Elyounoussi or Redmond starts, either of them would be a decent play, I think, for salary relief. And then for goal scoring opportunities, I prefer Adam Armstrong over Che Adams just because of salary relief. Because I just feel like they are both similar players. Che Adams is a better player probably, but Adam Armstrong has been in better form, in my opinion, this season, and probably has similar goal scoring odds. So why not just play the cheaper guy, right? And then on the other side of the matchup, like I said, Maddison is a core play. I do like Harvey Barnes when he's in form, but he's not in form right now. But who else is going to make plays for Leicester City, right, with all those players out? So probably Barnes, and then Daka likes to shoot the ball, just like Antonio for West Ham that we just talked about. So, we'll see what happens there. But for GPP purposes, I like Daka a lot. Madison, good core play. Barnes, good GPP play probably. And then Castagne and Thomas, they like to cross the ball, maybe 2-3 times a game, but that's about it. So I don't really like them that much. So that's really all I got for you guys. But if you have any questions, let me know. It's a 6-game slate, so that was a lot to go through. But if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, when the starting lineups get confirmed at 1:30 Eastern time, I will share my thoughts and how it translates into like an upgrade or downgrade for certain players that are starting, and based on the formation where the players line up. That's also important. So I'll share my thoughts there, and I hope to see you guys then and chat with you guys. And if you guys like the video, please hit the like button and then subscribe to our channel if you can. Thank you. Bye-bye.